All right, hello. Um, I just noticed a couple of synchronicities with tomorrow's date for Madonna, and so I was going to show you them. And it's kind of one of these interesting ones that connects back to Billy Idol this time. And seeing as we've had so much stuff with Charlie Kirk and the idea of the wedding and the white wedding, there is, and a lot of palindromic numbers. There is a thing that occurs with Madonna and Billy Idol that I've talked about before several occasions, is that their number jumps from their birthdays through um, to certain dates in the year will match up palindropically. Now, what will I show you? Let me go to Billy Idol's. So I've got Billy Idol's birthday in here, okay, through to 11/4 2025, which is tomorrow's date. And what you'll notice is that it's 25,542 days, 25542. Now, if I do the same, if I do Madonna's birthday now through to this same date, the 4th of November, what you'll see is the reverse of those numbers, 24552. Okay, so you have the reverse. You've got 25542, 24552. Okay, they're mirrored numbers. Now this happens, like I said, just because of the way, where Madonna's birthday falls in the year, where his birthday falls in the year, and the fact that, I guess, the fact that they're just the right number of days apart, and so these numbers happen like 3.5 times a year roughly. So they will synchronize on a date, you know, three, maybe 4 times, well, 3 times a year, 3.5 times a year, okay? Every 100 digits, every time this middle digit changes, we have to have Madonna on 52 at the end, and we have to have Billy Idol on 42 at the end for these numbers to match up. And so what you end up with is, let me just show you. Here's Billy Idol's numbers here. Here's Madonna's numbers, okay, for the date in question, which is 114 again, okay. And of course, this number, very interesting with Charlie Kirk, because you can put that 0 in there and you can get his birthday. And also at the start of Back to the Future, because there is this reference to rock and roll, and I'll show you something here in just a second. In fact, there's several little connections to the start of Back to the Future. But as you can see, these numbers are mirrored right now, okay? Right? Mirror, 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 mirror. Okay, so mirrored numbers. Now, let's just have a look at some of these connections then. So the first thing to note is the reference back to Great Scott all the time in Back to the Future with Billy Idol, yeah? And also the fact that he's born in 1955. So this is St. Andrew's Day, so that's the Great Scott, okay? And this is also at the start of Back to the Future, and we did a decode with Charlie Kirk with the CMR, okay, CRM 114, sorry, which is this thing, okay, the big speaker, okay, and you'll notice that Mary is referenced on here quite a bit, primary, okay, overdrive, oh dear, and what we're going to have here is we're going to have an explosion, and Marty is going to be thrown backwards, okay, from the big speaker, yeah. Mary colours here, blue and white. He's got his yellow guitar, the sun, okay. This is a 1/8 reference to the guitar, the neck of the guitar and the body of the guitar make 18. and he's going to get thrown backwards here, and he's going to say, "Whoa, rock and roll." Okay, yeah, Billy Idol, obviously a rock star rather than a pop star. You would associate Billy Idol more with rock, I think, even though a lot of his tunes really are quite poppy. Um, Whereas Madonna is, more pop music. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna have this little birthing ritual here. What you'll notice is as he flies, number 8 there as well. As he flies backwards, you see the lead from the guitar to the amp forms the umbilical cord. Okay, as he's being birthed there. Okay. Okay, so what, Dan? Well, let's look at some of these number jumps because we're also going to come on to a little scene later on, again, where these two kiss for the first time because of this idea of the white wedding, because of this connection back with Charlie Kirk and this thing, the church here behind him, which is the temple here, and the 1-4 numerology that's right here. Okay, and also this character that comes up and kind of interrupts the kiss, the Mrs. Doubtfire character. Why is this important? Because of the connection with Robin Williams, who plays Mrs. Doubtfire, and Madonna. He dies on Madonna's son Rocco Ritchie's 14th birthday. Okay, yeah, 14 here. Okay, 10:04, 14 numerology, 1-4. Super duper important. So what we do, let's go through some of these number jumps. So we've already got Billy Idol, this Billy Idol reference, with the rocking out at the start here. Connection to Madonna, okay, and this is also part of this as well with the white wedding stuff going on, okay, because if you've ever seen Billy Idol's video for White Wedding, you'll notice that in the crowd, in the congregation, when they're in the church, there is I say a lookalike. It's not really Madonna lookalike, it's a guy, but he's dressed up in the same stuff, in the same kind of outfit that Madonna wears for her music video, Who's That Girl? Okay? It's difficult for me to explain. It's kind of like a grey suit that the guy is wearing, and she wears a grey suit in that music video for Who's That Girl? So, and I don't have it up here, and we're not gonna look at it right now, but if something does happen tomorrow, I'll probably do some more stuff on it, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm just going to do all these number jumps now, so we can just have a look at how interesting this is. We've got Robin Williams' death date through to Madonna's birthday. Okay, let's just look at what that is. It's 143 squared. Okay, now 143. This is going to become relevant in a minute because in Back to the Future, the two main numbers really that we see a lot of, or reference a lot, is 55 and 88. Those two sets of numbers, let me show you, are very important. So is 143. Let me show you the reason why. So, if you've ever seen my decode of this chart, this is my decoding chart, and I've got a decode on it where you draw the clock tower in, okay, and you've got the columns here, and we've got to remember as well that, look at the numbers here in the doorway, the 2055, okay, pretty interesting with those numbers we're looking at with Madonna, and let's just go back to them just to refresh. Yeah, these numbers have the 255 in it, okay, 255 in the number, okay, and we are 24 years on from 9/11, completion of a cycle. So this is kind of interesting with the gateway, the doorway there. Okay. But if you've seen it, so anyway, you stylize this 55. Here's the 55 again as a lightning strike. Okay. Coming and hit the top of the clock tower, and it goes down the line, and look, lo and behold, it goes through 911. And we've got some other bunch of other stuff over here that I usually talk about, but the clock face here, yeah, what does it stop on? 14 numerology, okay, 10:04, okay. So you know, it's super interesting anyway. The connections back to this chart and back to the future, especially when you look at these totals down here for our two main columns, which is the metaphysical and the physical column here. We've got 55 and 88, and 55 and 88 combine to 143. Okay, 143. Now, interestingly enough, things like the actual Dam Buster raids took place in 1943. Okay, you know, there's a lot of interesting stuff with 143, but the main thing to remember is it's these two combined. Okay, that's where I was trying to go with that, just to explain that. Now, let's go back to this. So let's look at some of these other numbers here, right? So 143 squared is this connection with Robin Williams and Madonna. Now, if we actually just start clicking through, let's just go to Mrs. Doubtfire, the Wikipedia page, just so we can see the release date, November the 24th, 93. Okay, that already looks interesting with the 93 there with what's his face, Charlie Kirk. Anyway, let's do, this is Robin Williams' death through to what will soon be today's date, the 4th, the CRM 114, okay? 4103. So we have these numbers mixed up again, but pi numbers as well. Don't forget these numbers are 143, 314, 314 is pi. Okay, and so we're starting to see little things, you know, little synchronicities here with just the random numbers. I thought, well, let's just check and just see what 143 days prior to this date is, and yes, it is Donald Trump's birthday. So this is now becoming very interesting. Okay, right, so continue on. I thought, well, let's look at the release of the film through to today's date. Okay, the release of the film through to today's date, not today's date, it will be today's date in a minute, through to the 4th of November, 11668, yeah. 168 is Madonna's birthday numerology, the 16th of August, okay. Who else we got in here? This is Pierce Brosnan. Obviously, the connection with Pierce Brosnan ties us back with Die Another Day, that film. From his birthday through to Madonna's birthday is 1919 days, 1919, pretty interesting. This is Charlie Kirk's birthday through to the release of the film. Oh my goodness. 4-1, 41 days. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Okay, because we've got him, you know, this is the reference to Charlie Kirk in the background here with Mrs. Doubtfire and this going on. Okay, 10:04. And from Mrs. Doubtfire, we've got 41 days to Charlie Kirk, or between them, okay, from his birthday through to the film release. It's just, you know, when you start finding this stuff like this, that's where it starts getting a little mental. This was Charlie Kirk's birthday through to tomorrow's date. Again, we just did the, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we just did the Jack Reacher video, and it was Rosamund Pike who had the one, I think it was 10709 to 1111, which is our next big date, or 1011 for the Hoover Dam. 1011, 1111. I can't remember exactly which date it was, but we were seeing this numerology with the Jack Reacher stuff. Okay, we were seeing the 179 or the 79 numerology with that. So you start, I mean, a lot of this stuff crosses over back into other films. I know some people don't like that. What was this one? This is for some reason I've got Channel Tunnel stuff in here now, and I don't know why I've got this. I was starting to look at Channel Tunnel stuff, and I had some other number jumps from Channel Tunnel, but I've deleted all that, so there's no point in looking at that right now. This was the big date that we were looking at for Madonna just recently, the 22nd of October. We're 13 days on from that date. And I guess if you wanted to do this, it's 14. So this becomes fairly interesting as well. Okay. What else have I got in here? I've shown you the two. There's our two white wedding dates there that become palindropic, which is mirror reflections of one another, but two different numbers. Okay. This is how many days apart Billy Idol and Madonna's birthdays are. 990. So at that 99, remember when Doc gets flipped back into the Wild West, we see this sort of 6699 reversed fire trails. That's kind of interesting with the 99 anyway. What else we got here? This was the end of Madonna's celebration tour through to tomorrow, 50 days. So we're seeing is the 55 showing up now. Okay. This is the beginning of the celebration tour through to tomorrow's date, 752, which interestingly enough, and I will mention this just very briefly, is that click that day, we'll have to go one more day. I'm pretty sure, no, I think it might have been 7, I can't remember off the top of my head whether it's 745, I think it might be 745, the train in GoldenEye. Okay, well, let's not worry about that right now. But anyway, this number right here, let's take a look at it. 752618. Madonna birthday numbers again, 816 in reverse there. It would kind of be interesting just to let me just do something here. Let me just backtrack to 745. I just want to see where that was. Oh, that was the 28th. So that was that train number in GoldenEye. I'm pretty sure it's 745. But anyway, what else we got here, Dan? Come on, crack on, mate. This is really lagging. 9/10/2025. Charlie Kirk's death through to tomorrow's date. 55 days. You got to remember, 55 is it's a crazy number. Look, let's just click on it. 10th Fibonacci, 10th triangular, okay, and the 5th square pyramidal. But 77 showing up with it. And note that your divisors here, you've got 5 and 11 in here. 5/11, the day that Doc invents time travel. Remember. What else we got here? This is Rocco Ritchie. Again, he's sharing the same birthday as Robin Williams' death day. Okay, and that is, let's see what this is. I think there's something interesting. Oh, this is what, yeah, this is really interesting, right? Because if you think about it, this is Madonna's son, Rocco, through to this date that is on, where have we got it here? Right here, okay, let's go back to it. Let's see if we can see. Let me back it up just a little bit. I want to see up here. So we've got the CRM, apart from it's all blurred, but this is the CRM 114 right here. Can't get it without it blurring. But anyway, that right there gives us our date for tomorrow, okay? And what we have here is Rocco Ritchie, Madonna's son, his birth. Now, isn't this interesting that it's coming out at the 96 square, okay, or 96 squared. So 96 squared, and 96 is Michael J. Fox's birthday, 96, okay, the 9th of June. So this is kind of interesting with the idea of birth there, the son being born, okay, and yeah, and the connection back with Madonna and Rocco Ritchie. Just out of interest, I whacked in because I wanted to see what 88 days was back from here, and it lands on 88. So 88, go 88 days, and there we go. Okay, pretty interesting as well. Is that what I felt like I was gonna? I think I showed you the two crazy things. Well, three crazy things really. Is this for that decode for the CRM 114, Rocco Ritchie giving us a connection back to Michael J. Fox's birthday. So we've got the birth of the son here, the birth of the other son, Michael J. Fox, in the film, and this whole thing, okay? And then this is crazy, okay? The release of the film, the release of Mrs. Doubtfire through to back to Charlie Kirk's birthday, 41 days. We've got this clock tower number, which is in the background, you know, right here in the background, as Mrs. Doubtfire comes up for her 25 cents, okay, just as they're kissing, the white wedding again. And then, what was the other crazy number? This is super duper interesting as well, with Madonna's numbers here, okay, the release of the film through to 11/4, okay, and then finally the fact that with all this stuff, with the white wedding, and you know, the fact that there's this Madonna look-alike thing going on in the actual music video for White Wedding, connecting the White Wedding with Who's That Girl. It's just, I don't know what to say. It's just crazy. Okay? Those numbers there. And our doorway on our clock tower is, yeah, 2055. Okay, I'm leaving it there. I know that was a bit laboured there, sorry, but we'll see if something happens tomorrow. It's just another interesting day that synchronises. Probably nothing will happen, but I just wanted to do a video about it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on another one soon. Alright, cheers, right, bye.